Now, if there's two places in Britain where you think of as rain, well, one would be Manchester, but I'm not in Manchester, and the other would be possibly Wimbledon. That's precisely where I am, standing here in the centre court of the All England Lawn Tennis Club. And there's the rain. It was in 1922 that these famous championships were moved from Walpole Road, a couple of miles that away, here to Church Road in Wimbledon. Now, when it was being designed, the centre court, they put a piece of paper the size of a farthing. If you don't know how big a farthing is, it's about that big, right? That big. So that no shadow would fall anywhere here until 7 o'clock in the evening. The turf was originally from the county of Cumberland, beautifully green even now. And on that very first day of those new championships, the 26th of June, 1922, Queen Mary and King George watched no tennis because on that very first day, it rained. Bow to the royal box. You know, when they're not actually playing the championships, Wimbledon still operates as a lawn tennis club. There's over 300 members, but you have to have, you know, you have to be quite good, basically. I mean, I'd never get in. In fact, I find it very difficult to get into Ealing Lawn Tennis Club, Ealing Northern Sports Ground, to be exact. But they do only use the centre court and court number 1 for the championships itself. But if you think you're good enough, then apply now and you could be playing for Wimbledon. But through these doors is where all the most famous tennis players ever have actually walked to meet their match on the centre court. And up there is where all of the broadcasts are done from. You know, dear old Fred Perry, when he used to commentate for the BBC, from all over the world, that's where the broadcasting takes place. Wimbledon is updating itself. Here's the old number 1 court. Not much left of it now, is there? And up there is the south stand, as was, now looking over a complete and utter rubble tip, full of mud, full of absolutely everything down there. But over here, you've got the new number 1 court. Pretty spruce, eh? Over there is the big broadcast centre. Oh, goodness me, over 1,000 and more personnel work there. And do you know that goes down 4 stories into the ground? Here are some of the outside courts, and the players are going to have new blocks just there, you know, to get themselves sorted out where the old number 1 court was. And there's going to be an underground tunnel that comes under here and links to the new number 1 court. So they can avoid the crowds, so they can avoid the rain, and so they can avoid the strawberries and cream and the champagne, if they're that way inclined. Gotta watch those hips. I've just found a little bit of Wimbledon objet d'art. It's Sunday the 6th of July 1997, intended order of play, and it's the final of the gentlemen's singles between Pete Sampras and a French gentleman called Pioline. But it was in 1997 also, on the 23rd of June, that this new number 1 court was opened. And Tim Henman, the golden boy of British tennis, walked out to play the very first match on the centre court's younger brother or sister. And guess what? That's right, it rained. Now the gardeners have a bit of a time just before the championships start because they have to wheelbarrow in 21,000 petunias, 13,000 geraniums and 3,500 hydrangeas. Now, I reckon those hydrangeas are going to flourish at Wimbledon. They like water, don't they? I'm soaked, I'm sodden, I'm wet. So I've come into the museum to get a little bit of the history, because it's also, you know, a croquet club here, not just lawn tennis, but a croquet club. So I bet they've got a few facts and figures in here for me to have a look at. Real tennis. Now, Hampton Court is where real tennis is still played today. And this is something that Henry VIII really got into. Now, if you ask real tennis players about lawn tennis, I think you know what they're going to say, don't you? So this Davis Cup was inaugurated in 1900 in Boston, Massachusetts at the Longwood Cricket Club. It's interesting, you know, there's a lot of connections between cricket and lawn tennis. Because if you look here, the first official rules of lawn tennis was published by the Marylebone Cricket Club in 1875. And here's croquet. Actually, I remember when I worked on Radio 5 doing sport, croquet used to come up quite a lot, especially inter-county championships. I remember we had a chap come and talk about it. But you don't hear about it much, do you? But you do hear about the men's lawn tennis singles champion who holds the Challenge Cup for a year, first presented to Spencer William Gore in 1877, who also won a gold prize to the value of 12 guineas. The ladies' singles champion holds the Challenge Trophy, first presented in 1886 to Miss B. Bingley. All the trophies are kept permanently at the club, but winners receive miniature replicas with their names engraved immediately upon winning so they can take them home with them. Prize money was only introduced in 1968, and that year the winner of the men's singles won the princely sum of £2,000. By 1997, that same prize had increased to the incredible sum of £415,000. Anyone got a light?